I've started feeling like I need to burp and I barely started this thing. I have started reading the manual for the board game Daybreak.
Okay, here's the thing, right?
Okay.
I feel like a lot of the topics you've brought to the table on this podcast over the past few weeks.
Okay.
My instant response has been, boo!
Okay.
Boo!
There it is. Nice. You got it out of your system or you want to catch up on the previous ones as well?
It's fine.
Okay, so look, what this section should be is me saying, hey, I got this new board game for my birthday, and I've played it a couple of times with different people at different player counts, and I've learned a bit about how it works, and I would like to share my experience of it. But that's not how my life works. There's no time in my life for that shit. So instead, I've got a new board game for my birthday. I've taken the lid off, taken the manual out, had a look around, but no touchies, just the look.
No touchies?
No touchies.
Are there any sheets of punchy things?
There's no sheets of punchy things, I'll tell you why in a sec.
Okay, but if there were, you would have punched them by now, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put the lid back on, and then read half of the manual last night.
You read just half of the manual?
Yeah, because otherwise it's not a start of it.
Because you would have finished reading the manual.
Yeah. So look, I read 2/3 of the manual.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And I brought a video game from like 2008 onto the pod that I hadn't played in 10 years.
Yeah, good video game too. Probably better than this manual. How good can it... Okay. Let me back up.
Do you have the manual here with you?
No, it's in there.
You didn't even want to bring it to
I
refer
thought about
to
bringing it, but that would spoil what I was doing, and we like to keep it a secret from each other, even though all the listeners know.
I would have assumed you played the game when you were bringing it for reference.
You're funny. Played a game or funny. So, this video, I fucked it. I got my medium wrong again. I just said this video game.
Hey, guess what I have for you?
What?
A certificate that's soon to be approved by your new psychologist.
Oh, thank God. Something to explain it. Here's the thing. No, I'm not going to go on that rant. Even though it's a joke, it sounds bad. I was going to say, even though I was going to say...
Inappropriate rant. Inappropriate rant. Inappropriate rant. Let's go.
Now we can't cut it because that bit's so fun. Nicely done. You see, always doing your best to make sure we cement down the embarrassing shit that I say inside a good bit so that I can't say we got to cut this.
Absolutely.
Shit. When you're neurotypical and your brain just fucking glitches out, you've got like nothing. You're like, sorry, my brain chemistry works as God designed it and I just made a mistake.
I have no excuse.
That's right.
That's why you make up one.
Oh, yeah?
That's why you just claim that you have a neurodivergency.
Well, there's a lot of people doing that, aren't there? I'm not diagnosed, but, and like full respect, I know that like going to medical appointments can be expensive, and I know that working within the institutional structures can be difficult.
It takes a very long time.
It takes a long time, but if you think that you could get some help, I think that you should go and maybe seek out a diagnosis.
Yeah.
That's all.
Or at least see what you could do in the meantime.
Or at least, yeah. Anyway, that's all.
Good opinion on people. Great punching down, Reuben.
Anyway, what have you finished?
No, tell me.
No, I'm kidding. So this board game,
nice,
is called Daybreak.
Yeah.
And I mentioned this in our end of financial year, end of following up episode, I think.
Yeah, man.
As like something I'm looking forward to from the second 6 months of this year.
Was this like your most looking forward to thing?
I think so.
Mine was Wicked, and I did that one.
Yeah, this was.
This is Daybreak. Sick.
So this is Daybreak. So this is a board game about fixing the climate, basically. And it's made with it's basically completely recyclable and compostable. And they didn't shrink wrap it, for example. And there's no punch cards because that would be a thing that you have to throw away. So they've got all the components are wood. Don't know about all. Some of them might be cardboard. But the bippity boppity bits that you put down are wood, and they're in like I was going to say styrofoam, but it's not. It's like the composter pack ones that you get takeaway food in if you go into a hip place in Brunswick.
Yeah. So
the components come in those already. So this does that, which like I think if you're making a game about climate change, we're now at a point where you have to.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I wanted to say, like the box is bright and exciting and like hopeful, and the picture on the front of the box just says Daybreak and then the names of the designers, and there's a shining sun and people moving towards it and like solar panels and plants and shit, which when I describe it to you sounds like a kind of like...
Sounds like a Chobani ad.
Fake it sounds like a nothing. or
No,
like a greenwashing vibe, or like a false hope or something. But I think it's really important because the subject matter is like just really awful. And this is a game that expresses it. I mean, bad things happen, but expresses it almost all in terms of positivity. Like it's a multiplayer collaborative game about fixing it. And yeah, you can lose if the climate gets too bad, but it's about like solutions, implementing solutions, and every card that is like soft plastics recycling or frickin' utility scale solar or whatever has a QR code on it that tells you about the thing in real life.
Oh, okay.
So I guess I'm just having this interesting experience opening and reading about this game, being like, so I'm doing it in the game, but it's also like an educational tool or like I don't know how to say this, a vibes, like and again, not false hope, but like we can do this message inside a box, which is maybe good. My favorite flex that this box does is on the back. It has a couple of pictures and it has a brief description of the game, but the biggest text is 3 like reviews, 3 quotes. And one of them is from the designer of Sushi Go, and one of them is from the designer of Wingspan, and one of them is from the designer of Pandemic Legacy. And they're all 3 of them are like kind of mad that this is so good. Pissed I didn't think of this. Fuck, this is so good. And I'm like, that's such a flex to be like, yeah, my lovely friend who's in community, I'd like you to try this game. And they're like, yeah, you really hit it with this one. Yeah.
Damn, that's a good idea. I should put that on my book. I've had a game designer friend be like, honestly, I'm really annoyed that I didn't come up with this idea first.
Yeah, you should put that on the website.
I should.
Yeah.
I should.
Anyway, I guess I can explain half of the mechanics if you want, but I think that's less helpful than talking about like how I imagine it might feel to play.
Sure.
Which is what I've been trying to do.
Yeah. No, I don't think you need to do that. I think what you're doing is good. I think I'm really interested in this game and I'd like to play it.
Yeah. When you play with 2 players, you play with the US and China.
Okay.
And when you play with 3 players, you play with the US, Europe, and it's called Majority World. So it's like us, Australia and South Korea and South Africa. And I was trying to think of another South when I cooked it.
South America?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, that's not a country. Yes, it's everyone else. But then when you play with 4 players, China comes back in. So that must just be a balance thing. But I thought that was interesting. And everyone starts with a different economic situation, like a different player map. So like someone will have more green energy already, someone will have more dirty energy, someone will have more emissions from transport, and different like projects in your hand, which are like, I guess if you think about like Dominion, like the cards that you play, the basic engine of the game is playing those projects to do stuff. Why was I talking about this? Yes, indeed.
I don't know why you were talking about it.
Rather.
Have these people made anything else?
Yes. So, oh my God, it's flown completely out of my brain. But Matt Leacock is the lead designer on this, and he's made a bunch of other things that are very popular. But they made Wavelength.
Oh, they made Wavelength. Oh, they're part of
CMYK.
CMYK.
Correct.
Big fan of CMYK.
Yep.
They seem great.
Yep.
Over there. Other game design people. Sick.
Yep.
Damn. Well, I'm really annoyed that you're going on holiday and I can't play this with you.
Yeah, I know. Me
and
too.
Then you're back and then you're going on holiday.
Me too. We could. We'll be podcasting. I was like, we could fit in one game with. Nah.
This podcasting is ruining our lives, I swear to God.
Anyway, so that's Daybreak. That's the first 2/3 of the Daybreak manual.
That's the first 2/3 of the Daybreak manual. That's not Daybreak. You
No.
could play this game and be like, never mind, it's dog shit. The manual's way better.
My favorite mechanic, it's a giant thermometer. You fill it up with carbon. If you produce more carbon than you remove, which you're going to do initially for a long time, you just fill up the thermometer, and every time it's 0.1 degrees, things get worse.
Great.
Just gamifying all the stuff I spend my life panicking about. So it's kind of nice. It'll be fun to, I don't know, feel a sense of agency maybe. Or even if we lose a game, be like, shit, this is hard. What did I learn?
Give you some perspective.
You know?
My favorite thing is you're doing what I did when I was a kid, which is for video games. Though. When I get a video game, I probably can't play it because it's probably the evening. I probably have to wait until the weekend or whatever. I just read the manual to get myself hyped up.
I miss video game manuals.
Yeah, they're great. All right. How would you recommend reading the first 2/3?
Honestly,
of Daybreak manual.
It was a little bit of a cliffhanger because I'm just about to get to the bit where it's like, so every round we're going again.
Okay,
I promise this section's never finished. Every round has like you do a global thing. You all agree on one thing you want to really work hard on together for the turn. And then you all take your turn simultaneously. That's something I love about this game. You all just work on your own little board, and sometimes you're like, here, I generate an extra energy for you, or like, hey, can I have a thing? But you take all your turns simultaneously, so it's none of that waiting around. And then you do the admin carbon generation bit, which is like, oh, we didn't fix the world yet, temperature's going up. And then there's a fourth bit of the turn that's like a crisis. Like bad stuff happens. The thing that I'm finding really interesting about this game is it seems like there's two positive feedback loops.
Why not?
So like one is like the more you make things better, the easier it is to make things better. But the other one is the hotter it gets, the worse things get, and the more they make each other get worse. Like there's climate tipping points, like the Amazon and permafrost and ice caps and whatever. So I'm like, that's really, whereas I feel like some games that are built in this way, like you reach a certain point and then it's like it's all downhill from there. Like I've kind of solved the key question. So I think that could make for really exciting games if that works well. What am I saying? Oh, but I'm just about to get to the crisis bit where it's like, this is where everything dramatic happens. And I'm like, I got to go to bed. It's like 1 a.m. So I would recommend reading all of the manual, and then you'll know more than me.
Great. Excellent. Well, I'm pumped for this game. Very nice.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I have to drink this. I don't think I'm going to finish it. I've barely started. It's still full.
Drink. It's a refilling cup.
I don't like beer.
It's not that bad. Once you drink a lot of beer, then it gets better.
No, that's what they all say. I
know.
I think that's the alcohol that's doing that, not the beer.
No, this is 0% though. Sorry, 0.02 or whatever.
4.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear about the thing that
Hang on a minute, that's not how rounding... Oh, no, that is how rounding works. I got outraged for a sec.
Do you want to hear about the thing that I finished?
Please.
Well, I finished 2 things.
Fucking typical.
And I'm gonna bring 2 things because I think that they're relevant.
Okay.
So I could merge them into one thing.
No, bring 2 things.
However, I'm gonna do them separately because I want to have different audio snippets for each one. So...
As good a reason as any.
Which one do you want to hear about first?
Oh, we're pretending that I don't know what they are, or are we not?
Pick a random number between 1 and 2.
3.
Don't be smart. Give me a thing so that we can continue on.
1.4.
That rounds down to 1.
No, it does. Oh, yeah, it does. You're right.